Welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing well. Well, you guys, for all of us Married to Medicine fans, it looks like season 12 is gonna happen. Yay! I'm excited for that. And if you are a Married to Medicine fan watcher, let me know your thoughts down below. Are you excited for the new season? Do you think that it was a lot last season and need a little bit more of a break coming on? Or just how you feeling on that? No, I am just really excited about it. I am such a fan of the show. Yes, different seasons bring different things, and there are some seasons that I like more than others, but nevertheless, I really do enjoy Married to Medicine. It is a little bit of a nice departure from Real Housewives of anything at this moment as well. So yeah, let's get into the details and let's just chat about it a little bit at the end, okay? So let's see, this sharing is coming from BravoTV.com. And it is sharing that Married to Medicine will return for season 12 on Bravo. Now, paging all Bravo fans, Married to Medicine will return to Bravo for season 12. Yay! Now, the news of the show's upcoming new season was confirmed on May 7th. The same day, other new and returning Bravo shows were apparently announced. Additional details about the upcoming season 12 of Married to Medicine have yet to be revealed, including cast and premiere dates. So fans will have to stay tuned for more details. Now, details on Married to Medicine airing on Bravo. Well, of course, if you don't already know, and for a refresher for those who already are a little bit familiar, Married to Medicine first premiered on Bravo in 2013, taking fans inside the lives of medical professionals navigating complex friendship, family, and romantic relationships, as well as bustling careers in Atlanta. And boy, what a ride it has been. Now, the most recent season, season 11, which just wrapped up with a 3-part reunion in April of 2025, followed the cast of Dr. Jacqueline Walters, Dr. Simone Whitmore, Dr. Evelyn Climbs, Toya, which is who I could not remember the name for the last video. Check that one out if you haven't gotten a chance to check that one out. But Toya is the name I was looking for. Toya Bush Harris, Quad Webb, Phaedra Parks, Esquire, and Letitia Sweet Tea Lunsford, as well as friends Dr. Contessa Metcalf and Dr. Mimi Sanders, as they settled into changing group dynamics. Of course, you can watch the previous seasons of Married to Medicine streaming on Peacock currently, as the show right now is in hiatus. So yeah, a part of the announcement also that kind of coincided, and if you haven't had an opportunity to check out that video, I did post that earlier today, is in regards to the fact that there's obviously a couple of cast members who are not going to be returning. One that we got to see right off the bat was not returning, which was Phaedra, because we already knew that she was going back to Real Housewives of Atlanta. Didn't see any situation in which she would be able to do both shows naturally. But what we got to see is the breakdown of the situation on Married to Medicine that led Phaedra to being really done with the show and not interested in dealing with the ladies anymore or dealing with the ladies at all, and going back to her old stomping grounds, which that is of Real Housewives of Atlanta. So I think she will be much more happier in that location, which is the same location, just probably down the street, but she'll be happier on that set versus the other one, it seems to be. But you know, no moss. I think Married to Medicine will survive and keep going, and I think that Roa really does need an additional boost, and maybe Phaedra will be able to give us that. It's been a little bit underwhelming in regards to the situation with Portia, because as we know, with Portia's situation, you know, things have shifted and adjusted with her divorce and the things that was going on with Simon, so we didn't get a lot of that tea that I think we would have gotten had things had been different. But nevertheless, we'll have to see how Phaedra fares on the remaining few episodes for the current season of Real Housewives of Atlanta. But back to this show here, Married to Medicine, I am so excited that they're going to be coming back. Again, I actually really do enjoy this show. I enjoy pretty much all the ladies on here. Now, the previous video that I shared, which is no real mystery at this point now. I think that, you know, Sweet Tea is not going to be returning for another season, and I did share my thoughts about that on the previous video, so definitely go check that out if you haven't already done so. And yeah, and it looks like Contessa may still be in the mix again, because that was a concern I had about the friend status there. But you know, we'll have to see how that all unfolds. But I really do enjoy the cast as I see it right here. I think that these ladies will really do a great job, and maybe no more friend two, just this set right here I think is it right here, right? So we've got definitely Dr. Heavenly, we've got Quad, we've got Contessa, we've got Simone, we've got Mimi, we've got Toya, and we have Dr. Jackie. Wow. Look, it's been a day full of all kinds of things. So I just can't believe it. She just, yeah, they just flew right on out there. Dr. Jackie. But anywho, I think that, with Sweet Tea's husband, Greg Lunsford, he was like the resident psychologist or psychiatrist, I think. And so now that Dr. Mimi is kind of filling in that role as a friend of the show, I think that she kind of fits the bill. And maybe that was, I just thought about that. Maybe they felt that season 1 was going to be, maybe potentially the last for Sweet Tea. And then maybe, once they kind of looked at things, probably said, let's try to give her another chance and the opportunity to see, because obviously she's got the fan base there that love to see her on the show. And then I thought it was interesting when they brought Mimi on the show, Dr. Mimi. I thought that was interesting because she also is, I believe, a psychiatrist, psychiatrist, whichever one. I'm not 100% sure, but I think she's a psychiatrist because I remember being like, oh, okay, well, she's going to probably be the replacement for Greg, right? It kind of makes sense to round out the different specialties that all the doctors have on the show, the husbands that are doctors as well. So I kind of felt like that was a bit of a setup for the show itself because it benefited, kind of having that element on the show, which I think is very important. Anything to do with mental health is very, very important. And having that definitely displayed and, rocked on the show like any other profession and part of the profession should be definitely showcased. So I'm glad that they do have that spot filled at this point. So it's going to be a lot to, to see how the ladies kind of shift back into the situation. We got to see, if you did watch the reunion, I did watch the reunion, and quite frankly, it felt like it was many more months ago, but she said April, so it's been the early part of April. But we did see, Quad and Simone. I mean, I don't get the situation with these two. I really don't. I mean, it seems like they were really good in the first 3 or 4 seasons and things kind of fell apart. And then it became, more about, you're not letting me into your life more. You're not letting us know what's going on. You're kind of shutting us out. And then it just kind of lagged on that particular premise for season after season after season. And then it became an underbelly of the season when it assumed to us that, assumed because it was showing to us that, okay, they're moving past their problems, their issues, that being Quad and Dr. Simone. But for whatever reason, they're not moving past their issue. There is something else going on. And I'm curious for my avid Married to Medicine watchers, if you can think of anything that's happened over the seasons that really warrants this continuation of what's going on here with this breakdown of this relationship, please let me know down below, because I can't for the life of me remember what happened that was so quintessential that they cannot get past it. And it cannot just be, that you didn't let us into your life during certain times of whatever was going on. I mean, Quad was going through a whole divorce. It was not a good situation. It was a contentious situation. Sometimes people don't want to talk about every single thing that's going on in their life, and I don't think that they're required to do so, but I don't think that's it. And then, of course, the situation that, further comes down the line with some, tragic situations that Quad had to deal with family-wise that was brought up in season 10's reunion that really shouldn't have been put out there. And Dr. Simone did come out and apologize at some point in regards to that. It just seemed like there was a lot going on in her life. And I mean, sometimes you just got to give some grace. So is it really that the problem? Or what is it? What is the situation between them two? And do you think that we'll finally get more of an answer to that in this new season to come? Because quite frankly, it's just one of those things that's just going on and on and on. It's like a brewing war underneath, and we never get to any resolve. And here we think that, things got really, really very rough, I think, for Quad in season 10 when they pretty much unceremoniously kicked her off the show, although temporarily, but the bottom line is they kicked her off the trip, right, that they had currently going on. And my heart just leaped out for her because I just felt like, oh my gosh, to be treated that way, irregardless of whatever the situation is, the way that it all laid out was just like, oh my gosh, is that serious? My heart just broke for her. Many people might have different opinions. That's just how I felt about that, because empathetically, I just was like, oh my gosh, I don't like the gang up situation. But yeah, it was heartbreaking, quite frankly. And so I was glad to see Quad come back, and tried to reclaim some space. And I'm glad she also came back with a partner, because, there needed to be some kind of outlet for her as well. And so with that being said, once that they were able to kind of patch that up, I thought, okay, well, maybe there might be a chance here for something to, mend some fences, because I thought that was, pretty bad. And then, they get into it again at the reunion. And it precipitates off the fact that, Quad feels that basically the ladies just embraced Sweet Tea the way that they did and kind of left her out in the cold. And then Dr. Simone just like reared up and was just so upset about the fact, about you not letting us into your life and all this other stuff. And I just feel like there's something else there, because it just doesn't make sense to be this hankered down in this anger. And I hope that if not, on camera, maybe behind the scenes, off camera, maybe they will get a cup of coffee or something and just really truly hash out what is the problem. Why do they seem to keep clashing with each other all the time? And maybe we can get some resolve and be able to move on, from that storyline to something else. Because one of the things that I have shared before and that I appreciate about Married to Medicine is most cases, a lot of the situations, we get to a resolve. And sometimes some of those cases are not as so petty and, kind of infantile as we may see sometimes on Real Housewives of anything. And so that's one of the things I enjoyed with them passing through the situation. Let's get through it. Let's kind of move on to something else. There's other things going on in the world, other things to be interested in talking about. And you're going to probably have something else to be upset about later on. Stop dragging this unnecessary crap from the back, that doesn't even matter or is not relevant to a lot of us. And we don't understand half the time what's going on because we're like, I thought we were done with it the season before. And it just keeps coming back. So yeah, I just really, like, for the life of me, I cannot think of why there is such this thing between Dr. Simone and Quad. And I actually like them two getting along. I don't like the frenemy situation, and I honestly don't feel like it's really frenemy. It just seems like enemy on enemy, and every now and again I'll throw you a bone kind of thing. And I just wish that would put it into that. And let's move on. You get some real true healing. Maybe with Dr. Mimi coming on in season 12, like full on, and maybe not as a friend. Now, I don't know if she will be full on. I'm just putting that out in the ether. So hopefully that will happen, because I like her. I like her and her husband. They seem very mellow. I like a balanced person. I like someone on the show that's not always screaming and hollering. I like someone who's kind of that voice of reason and kind of just brings people together in that kind of positive way. I love that. I don't like to see the neurotic screaming and hollering from everybody about stupid stuff. So, if it means something, if it matters, it's a real thing, that's different. But sometimes you just go like, okay, can we move on, right? But yeah, so I just really enjoyed the show. So I'm glad that it is coming back. I'm hoping that we'll be able to get some closure to some of those things. And I should be told, if this is the cast that ends up being on the final cut, I would be good with that. No more friends, just this as a full cast. What are your thoughts? Who do you think? Do you think that this would work as just a full cast? No friends, just them? I'd love to know your thoughts. So definitely leave it down respectfully below. And I think that'll about do it for this video. But yeah, excited. Congratulations to Married to Medicine. For all of us fans of the show, this is the nice welcoming into the day, I thought. But yeah, with that, I think I'm going to bid you adieu. But I do have one more video popping up later on. So definitely make sure you have your all notification bells on, because I definitely want to hear your thoughts on this next one. Oh yes, because there's some other stuff we're brewing in the Bravo sector. We'll get into it later on. So definitely make sure you come on back. And if you are new here, I hope you hit that subscribe button, be part of the family. I would so love to have you. And thank you again to all those who are already part of the family for your viewing, listening support. And of course, that'll do it for this one. So I will see you next time. Bye.